All right. So back with another episode of, talking to cool people in Vegas. And I'm lucky to be in front of someone who I think is pretty cool.
The wrong person.
So I'm lucky enough to be with Shawn Tempesta. Shawn Tempesta, I've known actually for a long time. I actually, on the way here driving today, I think I knew before I had my daughter. So it's got to be over 10 years.
Flashback to we were doing a promotion at Mix 94.1. It was me and my then wife. We were doing a date night with me. That was the only promotion we ever did around me.
Yeah.
And you guys won. It was going to La Rev at Win, right?
Yes, that's right.
And we had set it off for whatever reason, and we became friendly from that point on.
Yeah,
which is great.
It was a cool thing. Funny enough, my wife and I both entered the contest. We both won independently.
That's right. I forgot about that.
So we didn't know we both won. It was crazy on the radio, and then we actually ended up selling the tickets and made some good money on that. It was awesome. We made money, had a great night. We met you guys.
That is against the contest rules. But it was the other station. I don't care anymore.
Yeah, there you go. So that's how long I've known Shawn. But the reason why I'm bringing Shawn on is because I'm not saying you're the face of Vegas, but man, you do a lot for Vegas, which is cool. I think so Shawn, a little backstory, TV personality, radio personality, hosts galas and events. So he's kind of the inside in Vegas, and that's why it's important to have you on this podcast. So
Thank you, man.
Shawn, let's go into it from the beginning. Where are you from? And a little about that.
Grew up in Boston. Grew up in Boston in the projects in Everett, Massachusetts, and I remember. So my mom and my dad, they were together, and then they weren't. And then I 5 or 6 moved to the project, and there was this woman that lived two houses down from me. Not even, it was like a row house. So there were 4 houses, but we're in the same row house.
Gotcha.
And she asked what I wanted to do when I grew up. And it was right around the time where I was watching Double Dare, Mark Summers.
Yeah.
I was watching the news, and I wanted to be a news anchor. And I was listening to a station in Boston, Kiss 108.
Okay.
And I told her I wanted to be on TV and the radio.
Wow.
Now, Rita, that next door neighbor, the person who... Rita, if you're watching, how are you? Who'd lived in the projects for God knows how long, said, "Don't you think that's aiming a little high?" Saying that to me at like 6 or 7 years
That's
old.
how old you are, 6 or 7.
And from that point on, I'm like,
let's go.
Fuck Rita. Let's go.
Let's go.
From every moment from this point forward, my entire career is based around spite. This is just to prove Rita wrong. So Rita. Hi.
You did good, Rita.
Yeah, so I ended up going into public access TV when I was really, really young.
Yeah.
Really obsessed around doing media. Ended up going to school for it. Started a public access show. Interviewed Britney Spears at 15. Got super lucky there. And then started in radio because I recognized that television was kind of hard to get into. But I moved to Vegas in 2006.
Okay.
I'm probably taking all the questions right now.
No, you're doing great. We're almost done.
Thank you. It was a failed MySpace date in 2005. Got me here.
Okay.
There was a girl that worked in radio in Northern California.
Okay.
And somehow, I don't know if she followed me or I followed her on MySpace.
Okay.
And we were...
for the young kids, MySpace.
MySpace replaced Friendster. And for the older kids, Friendster was the thing. It was a social media back when it wasn't poison.
Yes.
And we started just talking about radio stuff and then about ourselves and then about each other. And we, it was all emotion.
Sure.
There was no physicality because we hadn't met.
Sure.
And I knew that her and her family were going to be going to Vegas in October of 2005.
Okay.
And I'm like, screw it. I am going to fly to Vegas. Let's go on a couple dates.
Okay.
Because I was madly in love. Every day we're talking 4, 5, 6 hours.
Wow.
Nuts. It goes fucking terrible.
When you meet her in person?
Yes.
Oh, no.
The first day was great.
Did you get catfished? Or
no,
okay,
she was beautiful. I was me. That was the problem. But the first day was great, and then the second day got weird, and then the third day got weird. We're friends now. Everything's great. She's married. I'm married. Things are great.
Okay.
But I was heartbroken at that moment.
Yeah.
And I was one of the days I essentially got stood up that day, and I was walking down the strip and I was listening to Mix 94.1 on the radio. With headphones.
Okay.
Now, I had applied to Mix 94.1 months prior, and I heard nothing back. I'm like, whatever. But I knew of the station. So I'm walking down the strip. And you see the movie Big?
Yes, of course.
Okay, so the scene where Tom Hanks and the kid, they go to, they're in Times Square.
Yes.
And you see the crazy guy. He's just talking to himself. I'll kill her with a knife. That was me. Here, I heard 2 people that I don't think are either in radio anymore. I heard them talking to each other for 3 minutes. And I'm like, if I don't get a job at this fucking station, I quit radio.
Yeah.
So just out of a prayer, I send something. So I'm heartbroken. Everyone is asking me back in Boston, what happened with the girl? What happened to the girl? I'm like, I don't want to fucking talk about it.
Yeah.
I send something to the then program director of Mix 94.1. He sends me an email back an hour later 2 weeks later, I'm flown back. A week after that, I came to mix as part-time on air in webmaster. Didn't get the night gig 3 times, left, got a TV gig in Rhode Island, got some radio in Boston, then came back, and that's how I've been here ever since.
Wow. When you visited to see her, besides her, did you enjoy the city of Vegas? Like what? Yeah.
You know, it's funny because I've been to Vegas once prior. Yeah. I went with my friend. We stayed at the Flamingo with him and his family. Okay. And I didn't even think about the premise of people could live here.
Sure.
This visit,
some people don't.
What hotel you live in, right?
Yeah.
So this visit, I'm walking over, and I specifically remember this. And it's funny because I looked right at the part of Vegas that I've lived my entire time here.
Yeah.
I was going across the way from New York to Excalibur, across that bridge. And I looked towards the southwest. I'm like, this must be an interesting place to live.
Yeah.
That was the first time it really clicked to me.
Sure.
Like, wow, maybe Vegas would be cool. And so I moved here when it was right, the 215 wasn't completed between Rainbow and Durango.
Yep.
And I lived right there, Durango, Warm Springs.
What year was this?
It was 2006.
Okay,
January 5th, 2006 was my first day.
That's right before the recession hit.
Oh, yeah. No.
Oh, right now.
It was right before the recession really started to hit. Like, I'm seeing the home prices here at that time. I'm like, Dad, we should buy a house here. Because compared to Boston, this place is a freaking deal. And thankfully, I was broke as fuck, and I didn't buy anything. Because I left, and then I came back. And holy shit, everything was on sale. So I bought a house that sold for $280 brand new 3 years prior for $121.
Wow.
And I sold it 2 years later for $180.
Jeez.
And I rolled it into this house, and this house is doing well, thank God.
Yeah.
But man, this place got creamed. And like now with everything that's going on, it's like, I'm hoping, it's the casinos are like saying things are weird right now. I'm just hoping everything stays put. And frankly, with the interest rates, no one is getting out. I'm telling you, if I'm unemployed, I have a 3% loan, I'm doing something to keep that loan.
Of course.
I will never. I can't.
Of course.
Yeah.
That's what we're seeing here locally. But the reason why I asked about the recession is because you've seen it when it was thriving and not thriving, but you decided to stay even during the recession as well.
Well, so I mean, I was gone for a couple of years. Okay. So 06, 07, I'm doing, and it wasn't by choice. I passed up a night show in Scranton, Pennsylvania. Now, you think Scranton, you think The Office, but this is 2005. The Office hadn't premiered yet.
Okay.
So at that point, it was just a place that was devastated by a flood in the 70s that never really recovered.
Sure.
I had an opportunity to be full-time on air or do part-time on air plus webmaster here, and it paid me more here. Yeah. I'm like, I'm going to go to Vegas. Yeah. And my dad really didn't want me to go. So I was here for 2 years, and the night job opened 3 times. And I got passed up the first time, I was barely here. Second time, man, this person just had more experience, but you're doing great work. The third time, I'm like, there should be a no-doubter. I'd filled in with the morning show. I'd done this and that. And my boss at the time, Justin, told me, I just don't think we can afford to lose you on web. I'm like, if you don't give me the night show, you're not going to have me on web.
Yeah. What's web?
I was running the website.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
So
is that typically what happens? So they do both jobs, or just because you had that skill set?
I mean, there was 2 webmasters in the building.
Okay.
And the other one wasn't on air. I just wanted to be on air, and they knew that would be a draw for me.
Okay, gotcha.
So I didn't get the job, and I was heartbroken and pissed and all the feelings. And I learned that through that. Thankfully, I mean, I didn't burn the bridge, but I lit that freaking match. Oh, I was so close. And thankfully, I didn't burn the bridge because it's a very incestuous business. Fast forward years later, I'm now working for 1027 VGS, which is owned by Beasley Broadcasting. And Beasley's senior VP of content is the same guy that was the PD, the program director of Mix 94.1 at that point.
Wow.
He hired me. So thank God, because man, I could have easily
someone was looking out for you.
MFer, boom, and then screwed.
Shawn?
So exactly.
Yeah.
So no, it's so I ended up coming back. I didn't leave by choice, but by the time I left and came back, things had changed.
And
I came back for the television job. I was host of the Morning Blend on Channel 13 for 12 years.
So describe to the viewers, what is Morning Blend? What is that?
It's a sales integration show. Is what it is. They'll say lifestyle entertainment, but reality is there are some clients that will come on and pay, and we will try to make their 5-6 minutes on the air
commercial. It's a live commercial.
It's a live commercial, but we try to make it not so salesy.
Gotcha.
You don't want to, the way I put it, you want it to be bubblegum amoxicillin. Okay. You don't want it to be chemo.
Got it.
So if they feel chemo, you've done it wrong.
Got it.
Whatever the case, came for that. because I had done a similar show in Rhode Island. That everything happens for a reason. I didn't get that job. I got a great job in Rhode Island that gave me a ton of experience to then take back to Channel 13 here.
Got it.
And when I got here, Mix 94.1, I reached out to, Justin wasn't there anymore, but Brandon, who was the guy, he and I got hired the same day. I reached out to him. I'm like, if you got any part-time, I'd love to do it. And he's like, I'd love to have you back. I just don't want you to think you're going to get full-time. I'm like, bro, at this point, I'm pretty much done with radio. If it doesn't love me, I don't love it. I've got TV.
Sure.
Awesome.
Yep.
2 weeks later, the afternoon host at the time didn't show up to a live remote, like at Albertsons down the street here. And I got a call, like, can you go to Albertsons? I'm like, yeah, you want me to pick something up? Yeah, like, what do you need?
Yeah.
This person didn't show up there for the remote. I'm like, oh, okay. So I did it. And then like a week later, I was pushed into afternoons. I had to stop giving a fuck to get it.
Got it.
The more I wanted it, the less I was getting.
Interesting how that works, right? Yeah,
unbelievable. I got my headphones I took it as a sign. In Rhode Island, my headphones got stolen out of my car.
Okay.
And I'm like, that's a sign that radio's not for me.
Yeah.
And now it's all I do. So go figure. I had to stop caring about it.
Yeah. Interesting.
Man, and I got a better time slot than I was trying to get 3 years prior.
And how long were you with Morning Blend?
Was a Morning Blend for 12 years, so from 2010 to 2022.
Wow,
yeah.
wow. Okay, so a long time. So you, within that time frame, you did a lot of commercials for different companies. You had several co-hosts, or how many co-hosts did you have with us?
I had 2 full-timers and then some part-time that go. My first co-host was Dow.
Okay.
Next, we had...
we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, leave it there. It's a tough one, man. She was tough.
That's a follow-up question I have,
I have literally no one's heard from her since she got let go. It's unbelievable. Megan Tellis kind of filled in for a bit there. And the thing with Megan, so it was not a great relationship with Dow and I, unfortunately.
That was my follow-up question. If you have bad chemistry, how does that work?
It sucks. So I was at a television station in Rhode Island, and my 2 co-hosts, okay, one of the first times that I feel like this is going to get me in trouble. One of the first days, like I'm there. I won a contest. I was an open audition winner for 1 year deal at this Fox affiliate. Okay. And she turns around and tells me the executive producer's a B. I'm like, wow, okay, great. Yeah. And she just doesn't seem to like me because I'm the contest winner. Okay. The other host is a guy who there needs to be a feature-length film about this guy. I love Vince. Vince, if you're watching. There was an affair with his co-anchor in Philadelphia. He punched the Bohemian ambassador's driver's face in front of the United Nations over a parking spot. He's
our next guest, by the way.
Yeah, honest to God. He drag raced around our station in Providence, and then his final market, he got in a fight with his reporter at a Hooters and lost his gig. I mean, wow.
Wow.
So, it was tough. And I'm the goofy kid that won a contest. But I was decent.
Yeah.
Whatever the case, she and I, especially, Vince and I were fine. She and I never really got along, which I'm like, what did I do?
How do you not get along? I don't understand that. You have your part, she has her part. I mean, there's got to be some kind of... You know what happens? I don't understand.
I probably had excitable energy that annoyed her. Because
was she long tenured or just...
Well, she worked her way up through the markets to get there. And there I am, contest winner.
Got it.
And
you're the rookie.
And they would send me out to the fun stuff. She was a news anchor, was also hosting this type of sales show. Okay. And I would do the sales stuff, but I'd also go behind the scenes of Idol and behind the scenes of Wheel of Fortune. I don't know what it was. It's just, I did not get a fair shake in that environment. Okay. So when I came here with Dow, I'm thinking, and I have email her back and forth. I'm thinking things are going to be great. Awesome. We're setting it off on the right foot. I helped her move into her apartment, the whole deal. It did not go well. I mean, I'll leave it there. It was not a very pleasant environment.
Interesting. So it wasn't bad chemistry. It just wasn't good.
It was cruel.
Oh, that's interesting.
It was downright cruel. Yeah. So eventually they let her go. Megan Tellis, who's now at KTLA in LA, who's awesome.
Oh, cool.
She was my temporary co-host for a bit. And I was heartbroken that I wasn't going to have her forever because finally I'm getting an opportunity to co-host with someone that knows that I'm not their enemy and vice versa.
Sure.
We might talk, you might talk over me. Yeah. I'm not going to be like, what a prick.
Yeah.
I know you care
and
about me, and I know I care about you. When you have that, it's great.
Good. Yeah.
So I have this with Megan. I'm like, damn. And they're not letting me talk. They're not letting me have any say into who my next co-host is going to be. I'm like, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
And they end up interviewing this person, JJ Snyder. And I'm like, careful, because I'm like, oh God.
Track's not good, guys.
I've been fooled before. So she ended up being like my gift, like the media like gods gave me her.
Oh, okay, cool.
Her and I, my God, leaving that show. I mean, I had done what I had done on the show. Like the first day on the show and the last day on the show was almost the same.
Yeah.
But leaving the show sucked because of leaving her.
Wow.
JJ and I, we understood each other's comic timing and sensibilities perfectly. She cared about and cares about me, and I care about her.
That's cool.
And we had an understanding. So when there's not chemistry, holy shit, it is awful because you have to fake it for like an hour.
And you for how long? Years.
I mean, Dow and I were 5 and change years. And like, there were times where it was cracking on air. Like, you know, and I was just like, you want to take shots? Let's go.
I can imagine the camera going,
holy cow.
going on here?
And it's just like everyone behind, it's like, man, wow. I'm like, this is uncomfortable, brutal.
That's crazy. So obviously you were happy you got the JJ Snyder. So how long was that tenure with her?
5-6 years,
Okay,
I think.
cool.
Yeah. And
Very
like,
cool.
and like half of it was during COVID, which I got screwed. Like COVID's like totally changed my whole feeling about it. Cause like, you know, like, I was doing the show from home for 2.5 years. I was switching the show myself.
Wow.
And it just kind of like, you know, I was not, even though I was working from home during COVID, I wasn't seeing the kids. I was doing that. I was doing the radio show. I was doing a Twitch show as well. We were raising money for St. Jude and all that stuff. And I just had to say, you know what, something's got to give. So I eventually decided, you know what, I had an opportunity come up. Long story short, Mix 94.1, nothing but love for them.
Yep.
But I was time for me to progress. Doing an afternoon show right now in radio is a dangerous place to be. If you're not doing a content-based show, like it's typically a morning show, you're definitely at risk because they will just, you know, they just did it in Oregon. They had an AI hosting the show. They thankfully axed it because it sounded like shit. But they used the AI of an actual person that used to be at the station to host the show.
They use that same person's voice?
Yeah.
And that person was let go?
She signed off on it. Long story. Kind of a scabby move. But thankfully, AI Ashley got fired. Thankfully, real Ashley's still employed.
Oh, good.
So that's good. I want real Ashley to be employed. All the AI Ashleys need to die. That's terrible.
That's crazy.
So, but yeah, like I needed to progress, and I had opportunities to leave the market, and I didn't want to leave, but also like I need to move on. I need to progress.
Yeah.
And they were playing games a little bit behind the scenes. I'm like, you know, I can't stick around. I don't want to be like Mercedes. I have nothing but respect for. Chet Buchanan, I have nothing but respect for. I don't want to be a situation where it's like, hey, we're just waiting for them. If they don't sign their contract, you're next. I'm like, I don't want to be the guy that's like, are you going to sign?
My guess those morning show, their tenures are long. Am I right?
They tend to be.
Yeah.
You know, so like, but I also don't want them to use me as leverage to lower their pay. Like, I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah, good call.
So when I got an opportunity in the city, I'm like, freaking awesome. I'm in.
Yeah.
So that's what I ended up doing. And that's what I've been doing since 2022.
When obviously I think you had a big break. Let's talk about it. What would be your big break where you're like, okay, cool, like I'm all in. What would be that big break for you? Would it be the TV spots or the radio? Because
I knew I wanted to do media, and I wasn't getting full time yet. So I had done part time radio in Rhode Island, in southeastern Mass, and in New Hampshire, and then here in Vegas, and then back in Boston. And it wasn't really happening. My big break, I was part-time on air in Southeastern Mass, and a listener of mine, Jeff, who I'll always be indebted to, reached out to me and said, hey, there's a show in Rhode Island that's like, doesn't exist yet, but they're asking for like an open audition. Mm-hmm. I'm like, cool. And I look it up. It's called The Road Show, RHODE. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay, I'll see what that's about. And I would have had no clue because the Boston television market and the Rhode Island television market are different, even though they're about an hour away from one another.
Right.
And so I look at it, and it's going to be like a fun kind of like lifestyle, a little bit of sales, but like there's cooking, there's a whole deal. It's like the Today Show for Rhode Island. I'm like, fuck it. I had just gotten, so I had missed a tooth. I had missed a baseball when I was younger. It knocked out a tooth, put it back in, root canal was fine. The next one over there had to get a root canal because of that as well. That one got discolored. And so I had a discolored tooth, and literally weeks prior to this, I had gotten my teeth fixed.
Yeah.
So I went to the audition. Thank God, because if I didn't get that done, I literally would not have had that job. 140 some odd people try out at a casino there. I get down to the top 10, then the top 5. It's me against 4 Rhode Islanders. Fuck. And then
was that part of the stipulation? You must be from this area, or no?
No, but like, you know, if you don't know Rhode Island, it's like very colloquial, I believe is the word.
Okay.
They like Rhode Island's about Rhode Island.
Yeah.
And growing up an hour away, I'm like, that's close enough. No, it ain't. They do everything's fucking different in Rhode Island. And but I loved it. I learned to learn to love everything.
Yeah.
I want coffee cabinets. What does that mean? Nothing.
Yeah.
Dell's Lemonade. If you do see that here, though, that's a Rhode Island staple.
Okay.
They do have that here.
Okay.
So I audition. I end up winning.
Okay.
Thank God. Of the 5 people, 3 of which I know went on to great things. One was the VP of communications for Spirit Airlines. One ended up going national and working for the Weather Channel. And then one literally won the fucking Amazing Race.
Oh my Lord.
So I actually made out probably the worst.
Yeah.
Honest to God, she won $1 million. I got to see the world. What have I done? Nothing real. But that was my big break because for that year, like I legit behind the scenes, so you think you can dance. I just so happened, by the way, during the live shot to interview that year's winner.
Okay. What year is this?
2009.
Okay.
I forget what his name was. He did the crunk dance though.
Was it Twitch?
Could have been Twitch. No, was it Twitch? It might be Twitch.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it was 2009.
Yeah.
Behind the scenes of Idol, behind the scenes of Wheel of Fortune, just getting to be super creative and make this awesome demo reel and show what I'm capable of. And that's when Channel 13 didn't have an opening, but I saw one of their sister stations had a show just like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, just in case you do have a show like this, I happen to be a guy that has experience.
Right.
Oh, well, we appreciate yada, yada. Then a month later, they had an opening for it. I'm like, son of a bitch. I'm like, I'm going to be in town next month. They're like, oh, I'm like, oh, I'd love, I think I told them along the lines of, I'm going to be in town for whatever dates.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, it's a little too early. I'm like, well, if you want me to at least swing by, I'd like to reintroduce myself because I hadn't met them before.
Yeah.
And that ended up, I was the first person to audition for the gig.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure. And it was going to be me and Beth Fisher. Beth Fisher ended up not taking it. She ended up getting into the news department. And that's where Dow came in. I was going for the full-time gig. I got the part-time gig. And then because of the afternoon gig, afternoons there, mornings here, it worked out. Double the 401k. Life was great.
Yeah.
So it was really, everything happens for a reason.
Yeah,
the reason I didn't get that night job 3 times was because it was supposed to happen that
100%.
way.
I totally believe in that. Things happen for a reason. So you were doing morning, you were doing afternoon. Did burnout become a thing, or did the COVID really kind of change that for you?
You know what? No, I was motoring along, but once I got off that, yes.
Yeah.
I look back at it, I'm like, how the hell? When I was doing COVID, not only was I on air TV here, and we're not doing it live anymore.
Yeah.
Live is an hour. How long is it when it's not live? 3.
Okay.
Because you have to schedule a 30-minute time to do the thing. And I was having to do post-production for some of this stuff. And then the radio show. And then doing the Twitch show. And I was on air in Boston. So this is the sad thing. The person that I replaced had been at the station for 41 years, but COVID had everyone getting cut. And so Magic 106.7 in Boston had middays that were open. They're like, would you want to voice track that? Would you want to do it from Vegas, record it, and it'll air the next day? I'm like, sure.
Yeah.
And I care a lot because it's like, that's where I grew up.
Yeah.
And so I spend an hour getting into what's happening in the news in Boston. What are the happy stories I can talk about? Because it's more of a happier, sunny here.
Got it.
And so I was working legit from 9 a.m. to 1 a.m. every day.
Oh my word.
With very little breaks.
Wow.
I could have cut doing the Twitch show, but Twitch was, we raised $40,000 for St. Jude.
That's super cool.
And
I felt that was more of a passion project for you too.
It really
right?
was.
So therefore it didn't feel like work, but you were still working.
So Free For All was the thing I created for the radio station because like I told you, if you're not doing content radio, it's, you're in deep trouble. And I wanted to show them I can.
Yep.
So while I'm talking Mix 94.1, hey, we got tickets to Adele coming up. Here's Maroon 5. That is easily replaceable. What I did from 4 to 5 is I created a Facebook live show.
Yeah.
That was all content.
Yeah.
We had a bunch of funny people in the building, people that work for the promotions department, stuff like that. Come on in. We'll do a show for an hour, talk about trending stories and stuff like that. So people on Facebook would say, oh, Mix is doing something. That's cool. That's funny. And then when they get in their car as they're leaving work.
Was it affiliated with Mix? Or
it was at the studio while I was doing it. Okay. So I created that. I bought all the equipment for it, and they didn't understand it at first, but then they got it. And then during COVID, it really, especially those first few months of COVID,
So this was before COVID happened?
Oh yeah, that was a year before COVID happened.
So really transitioned into COVID nicely then. Like it was,
yes.
Okay.
And then we had a fan base that we created there, and it was super interactive, and people felt like they were stars of the show. And yeah, so I continued doing it. I couldn't do it during the radio show because bandwidth at home, it's different.
Time.
Yeah, well, that and like literal internet bandwidth, like it's like. So I did that at night, and then did voice tracking the next day, and then I rinse and repeat. And I give the kids a shower and get them ready at the beginning of the day, and they'd be downstairs if I barely see them.
Sure.
And yeah, like to be able to at this point now like have one job to really focus on has been awesome because I was trying to survive, especially during COVID. Everyone's afraid that they're going to lose their job, and I thankfully kept everything. But I wanted to like actually be a father, and so especially now in the circumstances I've had now, divorced, remarried, I wanted to be there. I want to be able to pick them up,
of course,
and not doing the afternoon show anymore. Let me do that.
So if you don't know, he has two beautiful boys.
Yes.
Beautiful boys, and a bone to pick with you a little bit because your boys tend to like my daughter in a good way.
The last time they saw each other, yeah,
which is cute.
This is why I've noticed we haven't been invited back.
That's it.
Kind of what it is. They, it's not Colin you have to worry about. Colin is a sweet boy.
Okay.
Mario's a freaking. This kid's going to be a dog.
Yeah.
He is 6 years old. His arms around everyone. You're so beautiful. So to everyone.
Wow.
This kid is dangerous.
He's got game.
Huge.
Okay.
More than I've ever had. It's unbelievable. Like, wow. It's just like.
Good for him.
Women are just melting. So, and Colin's a sweet boy, but like Mario's like laying it on thick. So I got to be careful with Mario. Mario is going to be a tough one.
Good to know.
Yeah, there we go. I'll have Colin come by.
That's funny. Yeah. But no, I think so. You were in Vegas. You've been doing all those shows. Do you have a preference, TV over radio, or just different things from either one of them?
I miss parts of TV, but I don't. Like, so we were talking about this off air. Radio doesn't exist anymore, and TV doesn't exist anymore. Like television's this is TV.
Yeah.
This is radio.
Yeah.
People might not be watching this, and they might be listening longer because they're not seeing my face. But for like, everything's digital. So I have cameras in the studio for Amy and Shawn when we do our morning show at 1027. And we essentially do like a TV show while we're doing a radio show. And there's nothing stopping us from doing that. And there's nothing stopping you from doing a podcast and doing video. And there's nothing stopping Fox 5 from doing podcasting.
Yeah.
And everyone's doing everything now. So I came to the conclusion, like, we're at this point, like this crossroads of media where there is no nothing. Everything's a digital something. That's why I got into what I got into.
That's interesting. So you think radio, I do think radio is changing completely, right? In a sense where it's less, I don't know, I think back in the day, do you remember when MTV played music videos?
God, yeah.
Yeah. So now they
TRL,
don't.
man.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But now they don't, right? So obviously
YouTube murdered that.
100%. Yeah. So things are always evolving in radio. So I'm just curious, because obviously the only way for a radio to survive is through commercials and money and small, right? So do you feel people are paying less to radios and going more to YouTube or other platforms?
I mean, Nielsen does they measure all the audience for the first time ever. Radio is actually number one as far as like people taking in a product.
Interesting.
So because you have a lot of older demographic too, they'll still listen to radio, but you like television, people cut the cord and then it's cut, and half of them don't put up an antenna. Yeah. So where do they go? They go to digital, and you kind of lose them to digital. Radio, we're in every car. We're free. We're there. Okay. I think leaning on music for radio that's in a spot.
Gotcha.
I don't listen to just music on the radio anymore.
Yeah, same.
It needs to be content. Same. It needs to be something. So like if there was a situation where, like if Joe Rogan was a talk show host, he'd be the biggest talk show host in the world.
True.
He does a podcast, so it's the same similar thing. But radio is... We need to be focused on content. Music is there, but music's almost like the hold music. The Girl from Ipanema. Yeah. To wait until the content comes. Right. That's where radio is right now, and they're starting to recognize that like you need something that makes it sticky, because if it's just music, it's not sticky enough.
Oh, that makes sense. All right, Shawn, I agree. I think radio has definitely changed in that sense. But you're right. It's funny when I listened to radio. I remember why I listened to radio. It was for the content, the funny stories. I remember listening to Mark and Mercedes,
of course,
back in the day, and JC and all them kind of thing. And that was my morning drive for a long time before podcast was big and all that stuff. I was like doing funny things, and that's when I tend to.
And now you listen to Amy and Shawn on 102.7 BGS.
Yeah, plug it. Yeah, I think. but I think you're right. I think content's super important. More so than radio or music, because you can listen to Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, all that. There's so many options.
You can get the music
and
everywhere.
when you want to, versus back
Not
in the
when
day.
You want to. My mix on YouTube Music is so demented.
There you go.
But I love it. It's perfect for me. Kendrick Lamar into like some corny 50s song.
Yeah.
I'm all over the place. No one can make a station for me.
That's so true.
We try our best. Broadcasting is broadcasting. We are trying to cast a wide net to get as many people as possible.
Makes
and
sense.
we think our mix at 102.7 BGS is good.
What's your demo?
2554, 1849, somewhere in that, people. But we, at the end of the day, we know music is like, so like our morning show, we play some music, but we're heavy on the content. Yeah. We're heavy on the contests and playing the games and getting people interactive. And we made a community on our show.
How'd you meet your co-host?
She was there. She was working at Beasley. So long story short, Mark from Mark and Mercedes left Mix 94.1, launched Star 107.9.
Okay.
Star 107.9 was him and Amy. It was Mark and Amy in the morning. And Amy was Mark's bartender at T-Bone's Chop House.
Wow.
They got along so well. He's like, you do really well in radio. So she goes there.
That's how she started?
That's how she started. Nice. Radio, well, anyone that you do not need an education to be in radio. And I'm not saying that she didn't get educated. She was like a D1 swimmer. Yeah. But you don't need to I need a degree in radio. If you get a degree in radio, burn it. There's no reason to have it. But they had a great chemistry. Mark left relatively soon after. Stayed with the station for a bit, then was on another station, then was on Coyote Country.
Oh, yeah.
And then they ended up taking Star 107.9 and morphing it to become 102.7 BGS. Mm-hmm. And they were like, Shawn, who do you want to work with? And I'd heard Amy's stuff before. I'd met her before. I'd had her on Free For All. I'm like, I think her and I would get along really well. Yeah. So we started the show, Amy and Shawn. And we're just trying to do a different show. If you listen to our show, you're going to hear, we're going to tell you what's happening in the city. We're going to tell you the local stuff. I'm going to give you I'm going to let you know there's an ultimate Frisbee team. Yeah. Vegas Bighorns. Go Bighorns.
Go team.
But what's going on in the community when CCSD's dropping the ball and Jesus Jara is acting a fool. Yeah. We call it out. Is it a news show? No. But in a news segment, we'll call balls and strikes occasionally. But then our games are really fun. We make it interactive. We get as many people on as possible. And the beauty of this show is, and Amy and I could never have created this, and I've literally never heard it on the radio before, and I don't think you'll ever hear it again.
Sure.
So we had this one listener, I'm pretty sure it started with DJ. DJ couldn't win to save his friggin' life. This guy was I'm pretty sure it started with DJ. Someone felt so bad for him that they won, and they wanted to give it to DJ. And I'm like, oh my God, that's the nicest thing ever. Because he just kept losing on the show. Our show has a ton of losers. Yeah. But that's what makes it fun. Because if you're listening in the car, you hear somebody playing a contest or winning Caller 7. Sure. It's a bore fest. Yeah. Good for you. I didn't win. Yeah. But why do you watch game shows? You're not going to win the prize, but there's drama. There's suspense. Yeah. So that's what every game has that. And so that started this thing that has just taken off called Playing It Forward. People will call and win for people that keep losing. Wow. Which is awesome.
Do you have a running list of who's lost, or how does that work?
People just know when they hear.
Okay, they're listeners. And
they'll be up against them.
Hey, Mary from yesterday, can you please give us
a usually they're on the line.
Oh, okay.
There was one time, so Daniel, who's one of our listeners, awesome dude, he has probably got the record for playing it forward the most. And he wanted to play, I think, Legoland tickets forward to DJ.
Okay.
DJ wasn't on that day. DJ doesn't come on often, probably because he's sick of losing. He just lost on the show today. It's funny you mentioned. But DJ, so we look him up in the system. We call him. This is the last day. We could not have planned this. DJ, this is the last day before we go on a winter break for Christmas. Obviously, everyone's got the holiday vibes, all that stuff. So we call DJ and say, DJ, guess what? We get Daniel on the line. Daniel, hey, I just won Legoland tickets. I want to give them to you and your family. And he was like, I've been waiting for this for a long time. He had won Disneyland tickets on our show twice that year.
That the DJ or the other guy?
DJ.
Okay, okay.
So DJ won a 4-pack, and then he won another 4-pack, and he only needed 5.
That's like $5,000.
They have to pay the taxes on this. Good for them.
Yeah.
So DJ said, I've been holding on to these 3 tickets, and I know you got I want to give these tickets to you. It was a double play it forward.
Wow.
We didn't plan it at all.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. We're freaking practically crying in the studio. It was unreal. So like we're a little more irreverent. Like one show might be Disney, we're more Nickelodeon.
Sure.
We're Shrek humor.
Gotcha.
Kids can listen and not necessarily know the joke.
Got it.
But then like we today we're talking about Burger King's getting they're getting sued because they misrepresent the amount of beef in a Whopper, and I'm like, this is not unlike a man to lie about the size of his meat. Any 8-year-old might not get that joke,
sure.
but everyone else did.
Does. Yeah.
So that's the type of show that we're going for. We get that quick humor. We're kind of like self-deprecating. We're just trying to create a different type of thing. There are shows that do that really well. Dave Mahoney, I love. The content wins.
100%.
So that's what we're trying to create as much content.
One thing I love about you, Shawn, is that you obviously things are changing, right? And so you have to evolve, or you're going to be just left in the dust or just forgotten completely, right? So you found a way to find a show that makes you happy. Like you seem happy.
100%.
Then that's beautiful, right? I think if you're happy, you tend to put quality content and you work even harder because you really believe in your product.
I feel like I'm earning it.
Yeah.
I was winning every single ratings period in the afternoons at Mix for years. And I was getting the bonuses and all that stuff. And I felt like, I'm like, yay, thanks for my award. It was like a participation trophy because I felt like my 8-second break into Adele didn't, and I wanted to do more. And they were telling me, don't. I'm like, fuck. So now I'm in a situation where like they essentially said 6 to 10 a.m., put the commercials where you want them, do the things where you want
you have
them.
much more creative freedom.
Way.
Okay.
And they've let me kind of like run with it. And it's beautiful because now I feel like I'm earning it. Ratings go up, ratings go down. But when the ratings go up, I feel like, yes.
Okay, cool.
I earned
you
that.
feel some kind of type of ownership, right? Versus not, right? So you feel like you're owning what you're doing right now.
Amy has only done morning radio.
Yeah, okay.
I had literally not done it up until this point. And being alone in a studio for 4 or 5 hours sucks.
Yeah.
And now that we're able to just talk about stuff, make funny bits, and like when you get people calling for a bit, or like people texts are coming in, or we're making, we're helping people through the course of their day. That's everything. So like I wanted that emotional connection. Like after when 1 October happened, I got into Mix 94.1. I just left the T-Mobile. It was the last preseason game for the Golden Knights, their first season. And I got home and I see that there was a shooting at Mandalay Bay. I'm like, weird. And I'm starting to look up information about it. And then I see an alert that UMC's at capacity. And I called my boss at the time and he's like, I'll just leave it to the morning show. I'm like, guys, this is like big deal stuff. Like this is our 9/11 type stuff. Yeah. I'm going in, and morning show can come in whenever and take over. And like for 6 hours, I was on the air. And that's the stuff that matters.
Yeah,
like when they farm out parts of the station or the entire station to other cities, you lose that ability to connect and be able to communicate. The next day, the best day in the city's history was October 2nd.
Wow. And
no one was accepting donations anymore, with the exception of one firehouse in Mountain's Edge.
Wow.
And so I was telling everyone, go to this one place. That place isn't taking your water bottles anymore. I don't know why people need granola bars, but that like people wanted to do something.
Yeah.
And so I was trying to like help people on the air know where. Yeah. So I left the station. I drive past that firehouse, and when I fucking tell you, my God, that place was a madhouse.
Yeah.
So much was being dropped off there, and I'm like, that is community.
Yeah.
Podcasts are great. They're not live.
Yeah.
To be able to be there in that moment, like when the Golden Knights won, we were in the studio. The second that horn, boom, we started playing We Are the Champions. We went live. Like that's the stuff that makes radio special.
Right.
So yeah, to be able to do that and earn it,
that's huge.
It's huge.
That's huge, man. I think that's beautiful, and I agree. I think back to October 1st, I think the first time being obviously Vegas for a while, the first sense of a community and the response was insane. I mean, you saw obviously way more than I did. Obviously, I wasn't even actually here. I remember waking up. I was traveling at the time. I got a bunch of texts. Like, crazy. I'm like, what is going on?
You're a country fan?
But I'm not a country fan.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but my wife is. But regardless, I got a bunch of texts that day, and it's like, oh, are you good? I'm like, what are you talking about? Turn on the news. I was like, holy moly. I'm like, I'm not even in Vegas right now. I'm good.
Yeah.
But the fact that you saw it firsthand and I feel like you could help was pretty.
I mean, I didn't. I pointed the helpers. I pointed the helpers to the place.
That's great.
that's what radio's supposed to be. And radio's an amazing platform that when used correctly is unbeatable. 1 October, I mean, Vegas is still kind of this transient place, but like that was the day, like 1 October happens, unbelievable stories of heroism and people saving people. And then 2 October was the greatest day in this city's history because we got to see what the city's actually, when push comes to shove,
what we can do.
We can fucking go. And we did. And like the lines at United Blood Services, just like,
it was nuts.
Unreal how awesome the city got together.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, I thought it was very special for us to see that too, because you don't know until, unfortunately, tragedy happens where people come together, and that's exactly what happened. So
Boston Marathon was the other one. I was walking around here with my cousin. She was taking a tour of CSN, and we got the alerts that there was that, and like, Boston, the same thing, and it's literally and Boston. Okay, let's get to sports for a second. Now in sports, the Boston Red Sox were dead last in 2012. Yeah. They were dead last in 2014. 2013, very beginning of the season, Boston Marathon bombing happened. They won the World Series.
Interesting.
Here, there wasn't a person on the planet that had the Golden Knights doing 100%, anything. 100%. They practically nearly won the whole fucking thing. I'm almost glad they didn't.
Why?
Because they needed. I don't want to hear, they were gifted a team anymore.
Carlson, I did not say this, any of that.
No, Carlson, he killed him. Wow, 42 goals. That's nuts. But what they did was so unbelievable. The way I explain that, like they lifted the city, like 100%. Lifting a cup. 100%. Then they eventually got there. 100%. Cup and six was what nuts. They. Unbelievable.
Yeah, it was nuts.
God.
I think that season was the first time everyone was rooting for one team, and then there was the who did they lose?
Capitals.
The Capitals. It was the world versus them. It was what it was. Everyone wanted us to win. It was nuts.
Well, I don't know about everyone. Look at Twitter. It says they hated us.
Oh, did they?
Still hate us.
They still hate us. It's weird, right? Yeah.
The importance of having the Golden Knights at that moment, like I was talking about the Golden, like no one was real. I don't want to say no one was talking about the Golden Knights, but like on the TV show, like when we drafted Marc-Andre Fleury, I might have been the first person on the air. I was like, Golden Knights, yes, let's go. And then like slowly but surely, like they start winning. That beginning of that season was so fucking ridiculous.
How many straight games?
I think 7 or 8.
Yeah.
And James Neal.
Yeah.
Oh man, that first year, James Neal was like clutch city. That first few games, unreal. Sports has that way of like unifying people, sure. And it's like everything happens for a reason. The Golden Knights existing at that moment were like the reason why this city was able to exhale as fast as it did.
100%.
Not to say that like, oh yeah, sports replaced, like no, but like we needed, just like there was David Ortiz at Fenway Park with like they still hadn't found the bombers yet, the Marathon bombers. They're about to shut down. They shut down Brookline for like a couple days. They couldn't find them. They opened it back up. They're still on the loose.
Right.
And David Ortiz goes on the microphone and he's like, this is our fucking city.
Yeah.
The place exploded.
Yeah.
And then it's like, wow.
Yeah.
Everyone could exhale.
Right.
And then we got 4 goals in 10, 12 minutes for that first game, that home game. That was the moment where the city went, oh, okay, we're safe.
Yeah.
God, yeah, man.
There's a couple. I think
I almost cry.
It's nuts. It's nuts. It's incredible. I mean, I think the Boston one was a good one. I think the Golden Knights one. The other one was, I think, of Bush.
Throwing the first pitch for the Yankees.
Team, right? Yeah, that was another one where I was like, "Whoa!" But sports.
But the Yankees didn't win that year.
They did not. But it was a more United States.
Unbelievable. That was the first time I didn't hate the Yankees,
and that's it.
I've come right back to hating the Yankees. All due respect.
You're back,
but that was a beautiful time.
No, but those certain moments you remember in our history, remember being where sports is like, wow, sports matters. It really does.
For this city to have like, there'll never be NFL. Remember, there was never going to be NFL here. They would shut down if it was a Super Bowl party. You're gone. Now it's like. Gambling, we love it. Come on in. Like they love Vegas. It's just it's been funny to watch like from 2006 to now.
Yeah.
Like the biggest city, the biggest things in town were the 51s and the Wranglers. Right. And now where we're at, it's like it's an embarrassment.
And it's still growing, which is nuts, which is crazy.
And I love, you know what? Listen, I was a season ticket holder for the Golden Knights for a long time. They priced me out. I couldn't afford it anymore, especially now. People got that joke. But like I like the Vegas Nighthawks are awesome.
Yeah.
Love
Silver Knights is fun.
Silver Knights are fun.
Yeah.
The Aces, I mean, though the Aces are sold out.
Oh,
now.
yeah.
I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But like the Bighorns, I was a season ticket holder to the Vegas Vipers,
Wow.
XFL team.
Yeah.
The 1 year they were here.
It was just short lived. That's right. Yeah.
Cashman was not a good football environment, but yeah, I love how alive the city's become, and now like just growing leaps and bounds. BLM's got to release more land, bro.
That's on the works. I think.
Yeah.
But anyway, Shawn, go back to obviously TV, radio, man. What would be your perfect gig, or do you think right now, like I'm on my perfect gig right now?
I love my gig. My
good.
perfect gig's a game show host.
Okay.
I've always wanted to do that. I grew up idolizing Mark Summers from Double Dare.
Yes.
And when I was 6, I met him in front of a grocery store. He was doing like a meet and greet because they were doing a tour of Double Dare.
Yeah.
And I met him. I took a picture with him, and I bought an adult large shirt of the super sloppy Double Dare thing.
Yeah.
Fast forward 12 years. He's doing like an event at downtown Boston for Game Show Network, and I'm wearing that shirt. And he sees me in the audience. We talk afterwards, like, "What are you going to school for?" And I'm like, "I'm going to be you." And he wrote down his information. He's like, "Send me your demo." They say never meet your heroes, and typically that's like it's dangerous thing. I could not have picked a better friggin' guy to idolize.
Yeah.
So that day, I'm on a fucking like high.
Yeah.
It's 2002. I come home. I throw my stuff in the garage. It's the basement level. I go upstairs. I'm like, "Dad, you're not going to believe it. Met Mark Summers. He sent the demo. Oh, that's great. Awesome." There was a flood that night. The whole basement gets flooded. And that paper is absolutely fucking destroyed. And the website's not showing up. Because there was no website. He just gave me his actual physical address. I'm like, how the fuck am I going to find Mark Summers?
Yeah.
So I would Google Mark Summers Productions. Couldn't find it. And then I eventually moved here, and I'm at Mix, and one day I'm like, I try Yahoo for the fuck of it. It shows up. I'm like, God damn it. There it is. There's his number. Oh my God. I call and leave a voicemail. I'm like, I'm not sure if you remember me. Years ago, I met you. I was wearing a Double Dare. He called me back, and I still have the voicemail saved somewhere. I actually do remember you. It's not very often you see a grown man wearing a Double Dare t-shirt.
Yeah.
Awesome. So I have a demo from Roadshow. I send it to him. He gets me in contact with his agent in LA. And I'm like, wow, this is it. I'm going to be a game show host. This is awesome. And I meet with the agent, and the agent subtly and kindly lets me down. He's like, listen, you kind of have to be an expert in your field to kind of host shows and stuff like that. And like game show hosts, like look around. So back in the day, you used to be game show hosts. Wink Martindale, Bob Barker. Who are they all now? Every single one of them is a celebrity.
Yeah.
Actor, television, or film.
Right.
All of them. Or comedian.
Yeah.
No one is just a game show host anymore. So my odds of getting that, low.
Got it.
But I would love that. I mean, that's something I've just like, I got the comic training for. Like Seacrest is the last host. He's the last guy that was allowed to be a host.
Yeah.
And he's got Wheel of Fortune, and he makes it look effortless.
That's right. He's not.
Best gig in the world.
No, so game show would be your number one.
No, game show would be the number one. Probably not Wheel of Fortune. I'd do it in a heartbeat. Ryan, if you want to step on the side. No, I loved Double Dare. I was with Free For All. We're doing game shows we're playing for Vietnamese dong.
Okay. Oh, okay.
If you don't know the
equivalence is what?
It's all. I mean, you win $1 million dong. I think you get $38.
Yeah.
So we were playing all these games, and like we'd end it at the end. We'd play like Wheel of Dong, or we'd play Press Your Dong. Yeah. And at the end, we'd have a game called Dong or No Dong.
Yeah.
And if you won more than $1 million dong in a single episode, you would go to the tournament of dong. Yeah. People got so fucking hyped for this, and I'd actually pay them out. Yeah. And we'd get like money from Twitch and stuff like that. So like, by doing the radio show and doing the games, we have a game called Google Predicts. We have Barnyard Trivia, 8 and 88, Radio Roulette. I'm essentially getting to scratch that itch. Yeah. And with the cameras in the studio, I'm scratching that TV itch. So like I'm getting I'm getting that flavor somehow.
I got it. Okay. So what's future for Shawn? What's next?
I don't know.
Yeah.
This is a weird time right now in the industry, and like I don't know.
Yeah.
Does
that excite you or worry you or a little
it
both?
worries the shit out of me. And like honestly, it's not just radio, it's everything.
Sure.
AI should scare the shit out of everyone.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like this is a weird time. Remember, like they were telling all the
we're real, by the way. Just so
this is real. But like, they were telling all the coders, oh yeah, no, you're definitely going to be needed. They were the first ones to be replaced by AI. Yeah. You're seeing like NBA on NBC. Jim Fagan was the guy. The NBA on NBC, like that guy back in the 90s.
Yeah.
He's going to be doing the voiceovers again.
Yeah.
Guy's dead.
He's dead. Yeah.
And the family's like, oh, dad can still make us money?
Is that royalties? Sure. It's royalties, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, yeah,
So they're taking it.
Yeah.
So like when, I think this is like heavy shit. Like this is beyond radio. This is like everything.
Sure.
Like, I think everything's about to get real fucking dark. Yeah. Listen, and I was right about COVID. Everyone at 13 thought I was an alarmist. I am not a conspiracy theorist guy. Yeah. And I'm looking like, guys, like Italy's shut down right now. Why would we not be shut down? And then 2 weeks later, we're all shut down.
Yeah.
I just think that we're at a precipice where like we're seeing the workers starting to recognize that like the corporations are like maybe not our friends.
Yeah.
And we're going to have a mass unemployment situation. That's what I feel like. In radio, I don't know. And television, I don't know. I'm just going to do as much as I can. Cool. So like I've got ideas for Twitch ideas and podcasts. I'm going to make a podcast studio in the house. If I have to do Uber one day, who the hell knows? Yeah. I'm not sure what tomorrow's going to bring. I know that we have a hell of a show on 102.7 VGS. And I hope it lasts forever.
Let's go.
But I just know that things are changing so fast that I'm just trying to bring as much value to that job. Like I'm setting up camera systems for that company to show that like I'm more than just this one trick pony. But yeah, I don't know. We're in a weird time. I agree. Everything's in a weird time.
No, I agree. I think AI has changed everything, and I think
lawyers.
Sure. Oh yeah.
I mean, like if you're like if you went to school for law, you get an internship. Like most of those interns are going to be just replaced by AI.
100%.
It's a weird time, guys. Yeah. Weird time.
I think you got to be adaptable, malleable to what was happening, and not to be scared, but also just think that you have to protect yourself. I mean, that's what it comes down to ultimately. You got to protect your industry, protect who you are, and that's super important because to your point, something can replace you very easily, and it's possible. But I think the human component, Shawn, I think you have at super, super important. So maintain that you connect with people. I think you can't replace that with AI. There's just no way, and I truly believe in that.
That's the truth. And I think people like, I think you're literally, like you see, like you'll see like cage-free eggs. I genuinely think in our lifetime we're going to see like AI-free book or like honestly like a label like this was made by an artisan of the mind that created this creative thing. Because like and I use AI to like every Friday we're doing a bit on our show that's the weekly wrap we call it, and I try to like get all the bits of that week on the show and make a funny song out of it. I can't sing worth a lick. I'm not going to hire anyone to do it. I write good lyrics. So I write the lyrics and I have the AI make the song.
Yeah.
Good use of AI? Sure. Like a musician, that could have been a musician's job, but I was never going to be able to afford that.
Sure.
So that's cool. And there's an AI, like there's a human element to that. But yeah, I don't know. It's a weird time. People need to feel like they are needed. Yeah. So,
Well, we need you, Shawn, in the world.
Oh,
so let's keep it going.
And if you need a great realtor,
thank you.
Let me tell you.
But I appreciate it. But thank you so much, Shawn, for coming on. I really appreciate it. But I look forward. I'm going to obviously watch your stuff. Make sure everyone watch his stuff too. The link will be below to catch his stuff. But man, I want to see you continue to evolve because you deserve to be in the front of the camera or on the radio for sure. Because you actually do care, and that's something that we need more.
I appreciate you, buddy. That's why I'm here, man.
Shawn, you're awesome. Follow Shawn, and thank you guys so much. Appreciate it.